Hey guys, how's it going? I'm back with another video. So in this video here, what I want to talk about is the Learn feature of the ChessUP app. So if we look at the bottom of the screen, you see Learn. So if you click Learn here, as you can see, that you have fundamentals and you have plenty of videos. If you click Beginner here, there's more videos and so on. Again, they have added much more to this. I think down here in the intermediate section on up to the expert and master, they don't have any stuff just yet, but that's because this is a work in progress. Now, if you got any questions or anything you want to know about or maybe what you can tell them that you might suggest to add, there's a submit feedback button right in the middle of the screen, so you can click that. Now let's go ahead and try out a lesson here. This is pretty good. This is fantastic. Let me show you how it works. All right, now let's go to the first lesson here, creating a pass pawn. All right. When you first click it, there's a little drop down, give you a little spiel about what it is, learn what a pass pawn is and how to create one when you have a pawn majority. Now, don't forget, this is a beginner lesson. So say if you are a parent or somebody who just wants to learn how to play chess on their own and just want to casually learn some stuff, fundamentals and beginner things, this board right here not only is going to visually show you, but it has hands-on training as well, as you will see. So that's why this thing is a certified STEM device. STEM means science, technology, engineering, and math. And it has this hands-on component for you to learn. So let's take a look. Now we click Start Lesson here. It also gives you a little bit more information here. It also says start with the clear board and make sure that the A1 square is on your left. Again, it's probably just doing that because it's beginner, just to tell people at that level, hey, just make sure the board is in the correct orientation. And you would need the following pieces: 3 pawns, or for white rather. So let's go ahead and clear the board. As you see, everything lights up when you take the pieces off the board. But once you start the lesson, the board is going to go blank and it's going to direct you to where to put the pieces. And it's actually going to visually show you that. And not only visually show you that, as the video lesson is going to pause when it gives you an action item. So that way it gives you timing. And once you put that piece on the board, that action item will cause the video to proceed. So let's take a look. Let's go ahead and hit Start Lesson. And let's just listen. They got an instructor here. I forget her name, but she's a well-known women's grandmaster.
In this lesson, we're going to learn how to create a pass pawn. First, let's learn what a pass pawn is. Let's place a white pawn on B2.
Okay, see how the video paused and the board and the square lit up, telling you where to put the pawn. So watch this. Once you put the pawn on the board, it's going to take it and the video is going to proceed.
This is a pass pawn. A pass pawn is a pawn that is going to a queen, and there are no enemy pawns that can stop it, which means there are no pawns on the file that our pawn is on. So here is the B file, and there are no pawns on the A or C files. So there's no pawn to capture ours when our pawn marches down the board. Even if there are pieces on every single square on the B file in front of our pawn would still be considered a pass pawn because there are no pawns stopping it. Let's go ahead and add a black pawn on B7.
Okay, I'm going to add a pawn to B7.
Now neither pawn is a pass pawn because when these pawns move forward, they will simply be blocking each other. So now let's add another white pawn on A2.
And not only, one quick thing, not only are they giving you tips actually on the actual physical board, but if you look on the board inside the app, it shows arrows as well. So it kind of gives you a double reinforcement there with that.
So now white has a pawn majority on the queen side. So white has 2 pawns versus black's 1 pawn. So we're not going to be adding kings here because we're not playing this move by move. I'm simply showing you how to create a pass pawn and how to do it accurately, because it's still possible to make mistakes here and give your opponent opportunities to stop you from doing so. So if we look at this position, as we said, the B pawns are blocking each other, so our A pawn is going to become a pass pawn. So what we're going to do, we're going to exchange our pawns for this B pawn, and since we have a majority, we have 1 more pawn. That pawn will become the pass pawn. So our general plan is going to be pushing this pawn all the way to B5 and the A2 pawn all the way to A6, offering a pawn exchange and, as a result, creating a pass pawn. But we have to play accurately. We can either start by pushing our A pawn or we can start by pushing our B pawn. So let's go ahead and play pawn to B4. So this is actually an inaccuracy because black can respond by playing pawn to b5.
It even shows you how it's inaccurate. That's pretty good as well.
And now we see that our pawns are stuck because we can no longer make progress. If the pawn goes to a4, it will be captured. And yes, we will create a passed pawn, but we will also give our opponent a passed pawn. So let's put these pawns back. b5 pawn to b7. And the b4 pawn to b2. So we will start by pushing our pawn to a4. Next, we will place the pawn to b4. And again, we have to think about, are we pushing our b pawn first or the a pawn? So we should start by placing pawn to a5. So we're not allowing this b pawn to move again. So next we will go pawn to b5, followed by pawn to a6. So if our opponent captures, we will capture back. And now we created a passed pawn and our pawn will march down the board. So let's put this pawn back on a2. Add a white pawn on b2. Another pawn on c2. Now let's add black pawns on a7, c7. So let's take a look at this position. Again, white has a pawn majority. So we have 3 pawns, our opponent has 2 pawns. So let's think about which pawn is going to become a passed pawn. So the a pawn is blocked, it has a pawn in front of it. The pawn is blocked, it has a pawn in front of it. So our pawn that's going to become a passed pawn is our b pawn. So here we will start by pushing the pawn to b4. And now we're stopping our opponent from blocking our pawn's movement. They cannot go to a5 or c5. Next we'll play pawn to a4. Next pawn to c4. And again we will push our pawn to b5. Pawn to a5. The other pawn to c5. And now pawn to b6. And we see that our opponent has 2 attackers, but we have 2 defenders. So this exchange is going to work out just fine for us. The black will capture with the c pawn.
Oh, one quick note I want to make sure to tell you that pick up the pawn or that piece that's going to make the capture first. That way you just ensure that everything's going to go smoothly. Like, for example, the black pawn is going to capture the white pawn, so pick it up first. Pick up the pawn that will be captured and set this down.
We will capture back with the c pawn. Black captures again. We recapture. And once again, we have created a passed pawn and our passed pawn will queen. There are other ways to create passed pawns, such as sacrifices or pawn breakthroughs, which we will learn in future lessons, but having a pawn majority is the clearest way to create a passed pawn.
Anyway, I backed out because, again, if you leave it, it'll just loop, but that's okay. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that demonstration there of how the lessons work. So, if you go to learn here, you will see plenty of lessons here under beginner, under fundamentals. And actually, some of these are pretty good. And they're actually hands-on on the board. So this would make a great way for you to learn things on your own and also be able to effectively teach that, say, to a child, to your child, to a nephew, or just maybe a significant other that doesn't know how to play chess that well and you want to just have something to do together. So with that said, I hope you guys, again, enjoyed this demonstration. Let me know if you got any questions down in the comment. You guys take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.